Oh, 100%. You often hear these stories of somebody working hard for 50 years and then, they're buried a year after they retire,
Wow.
horrible stories. Yeah, we do see natural changes in cognitive ability and intelligence, in social intelligence, emotional intelligence too. And to use a kind of a very traditionally accepted model of intelligence, there is a distinction made typically between fluid intelligence and crystallized intelligence. When we look at fluid intelligence, you can view it as kind of raw intellectual power, learning ability, the ability to adapt to novel circumstances, the ability to retain, encode, and retrieve memories. Um, we have that, and then on the other hand, we have crystallized intelligence, which is really the outcome of applying fluid intelligence, your learning capacity, to learning experiences. So crystallized intelligence is more like knowledge. It's acquired information, it's skill, it's experience. And when we look at these two different types of intelligence, they're closely related, but they have different developmental trajectories. And so what you tend to see, and a lot of people won't like hearing this next part, what you tend to see with fluid intelligence is it peaks remarkably early.
Okay.
And it peaks most likely in your mid to late 20s. So the idea of the mind being a sponge dissipates quite early. Our learning potential does dissipate. Doesn't mean we can't learn, but there is a bit of that idea of you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Okay.
You can, just takes a bit longer.
Yeah.
That's it. And so that peaks quite early in your 20s, stays fairly stable kind of into probably your late 30s, looking at the wider faculties involved. And you won't really see significant drops in that in cognitive ability probably until late 60s, early 70s, just generally on average on a population level. But if you look at crystallized intelligence, that pretty much continues to increase all the way through life, up until extreme old age, pretty much. But that's because you're constantly learning, you're constantly involved, and you can feed that in your behavior and the environments you expose yourself to.